Hello everybody and welcome to a new video on the TARDIS Zone. Obviously, if you like what I have to say, give the video a like. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Also, the podcast with Aslan's Army, the podcast I was invited to do with Aslan's Army, is available on YouTube on Aslan's Army. Also on my YouTube channel. It's also on Twitter and it's on the TARDIS Zone on Facebook. Also, Not My Doctor Who HQ. David Tennant did an interview with it's on Digital Spy. It was an interview by Bay Mitchell. And basically the headline is David Tennant responds to criticism that Doctor Who Series 11 was too PC. And his quote is it possible to be too politically correct? So let's have a look at this article. So David Tennant has responded to those labelling the latest series of Doctor Who too politically correct. Speaking to The Guardian, so it was The Guardian, about the show's 11th run, Tennant was asked what he thought of the backlash. And then he was quoted as saying, "Is it possible to be too politically correct? What does that even mean? Inclusivity has always been one of Doctor Who's strengths," Tennant says. So let's continue with the article. In an interview, he opened up about the advice he gave to Jodie Whittaker about playing the Doctor. "To certain people, you'll always be the Doctor, which is a wonderful, humbling thing, but it does not mean accepting an adjustment to your life," Tennant admitted. "You have to be ready for that. It is a unique experience, and there's a very small support group who knows how that feels. One would never give advice on how to play the part." Maybe you should have gave her advice, but we'll continue on anyway. "The acting bit is what you go to drama school for. All you can help with is the other stuff. Jodie was such an exciting choice. Wow. I'm usually proud of how successful she has been." Meanwhile, Doctor Who Series 11 episode Rosa has been recognised at a recent Visionary Honours Awards. Right now, I will point out that award ceremony was only made up this year. Starring Vinette Robinson, I think I'm pronouncing her name right, as the civil rights heroine Rosa Parks. The episode saw Whittaker's Doctor whiz back to Alabama and cross paths with the legendary campaigner. So yeah, that's all that's in this little article here from Digital Spy. So let's go back a bit and we'll comment on the thing. So he talks about the latest series being too politically correct, and he says, "Is it possible to be too politically correct?" Well, this is my take on it, okay? See, what's happened is people like David Tennant and people who support Jodie Whittaker and Series 11 are trying to get the term politically correct out of the English vocabulary. Couldn't even say that word properly. They're trying to get rid of it, basically. Because that word is dangerous to them. Because that's the word we use when, when they do all this crap that they're doing. Okay? So the word politically correct, as I said, is a dangerous word to them. So basically, you'll get people like this, and you've heard, I also read an article, actually, I have it in one of my videos, and the headline is that we must bin the term politically correct. Is it time to bin the term politically correct? See, this is what they want to try and do. Okay? As I said, this word is dangerous to them because it doesn't help their cause, because what they are doing is they're trying to force the ideology onto us, and they don't want anybody to get in their way. And people like me and other big YouTubers out there that do videos, I'm not a big YouTuber, but they go and do their videos, and they get a lot of stick and a lot of backlash because you know, they tell it as it is. They're not afraid to give their opinion. But, you know, everything in today's society has to be politically correct. Today's society is all wrong. I mean, what we're teaching kids now is all wrong. What we're being fed is all wrong. We're being manipulated. Well, I'm not being manipulated because I'm not stupid enough to fall for it. But what's happened is the whole industry, not just film industry, music, political, everywhere. Everything has to be politically correct. Everything has to have its go a certain way, and everybody has their own ideology that they're trying to ram down your throats. Now, Series 11 has been used for that reason, for Jodie Whittaker's ideology, and obviously for Chris Chibnall's ideology. Going back to Rosa, Rosa winning that award. To be honest with you, as I said in another video, Rosa was a visionary. The episode was definitely not visionary and shouldn't have won an award. I would say Heaven Sent, you know, if they're going to throw out awards, why not give Peter an award for Heaven Sent? I mean, that's probably one of the greatest episodes that was ever written, to be quite honest with you. They're winning these little Mickey Mouse awards because, you know, she didn't win in the NTA, so, you know, the industry is going to give them token awards. I already, you can see the chatter among some pro Jodie supporters. They're already talking about Jodie Whittaker winning the BAFTA. You must be out of his heads if you actually think she's going to win the BAFTA. She wasn't good enough to win the NTA. She's not going to win the BAFTA. I think Matt Smith was the last Doctor, wasn't he, to win an NTA, and then he went on to win the BAFTA because he actually deserved to win an NTA and a BAFTA. Jodie Whittaker doesn't deserve to win any sort of award, but she will be given some token awards, but she's definitely not going to win the NTA. The BAFTA. She definitely is not going to win that BAFTA. So again, anybody that thinks that she deserves an award for Series 11, as I said, you must, if that's the level of acting that you think deserves an award, right? Well then Peter Capaldi's era should have won hundreds of awards because he's definitely the better caliber of actor. And his era, while flawed, still had the better episodes. So if anybody deserved that, and because I see a lot of Doctor Who fans taking, you know, they were taking a pop at Peter, and I've noticed now that Peter is being defended, and any poll that's being done, Peter seems to be winning now. That's a direct response to BBC, to pro Jodie fans attacking Peter, and that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. I've also done my own polls. There's people that are on Twitter that have done polls, tried to stick it to the Not My Doctor movement, voted in their own poll, and then posted the result after a couple of votes and tried to say Whittaker had won. Obviously, we had proof that was a fraud, and then the real poll then suggested that there was a split. Everybody voted for a different doctor. It wasn't one person just voting for one certain doctor to make sure that Jodie Whittaker lost. Everybody else voted for the doctor that they liked because the votes were split. Okay, in my poll, I asked a simple question: how would you rate Jodie Whittaker's 4 series? Oh no, how would you rate Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor? And she lost that poll too. She was the worst in my poll, which had 356 votes, and in the 356 votes, she was voted as the worst Doctor of the modern era. The worst Doctor of all time. Sorry, not even of this era, of all time. Every other poll that I see on Facebook or anywhere on social media, Jodie Whittaker is losing these polls, okay? But according to pro Jodie fans, she is a success. Now, recently, the numbers for Resolution, the 30-day consolidated figures were released, and it creeped up to 7.45 million or something was the overall 30-day consolidated figures for Resolution. Pretty pathetic when you actually look at the very first episode of the new series that Whittaker was in. I think that got 10 million and something. So I mean, it is pretty pathetic. It actually goes to show that this version of Doctor Who, and I stress this version of Doctor Who, doesn't have the support that everybody thinks it has. And that's why Series 12 will bomb. It doesn't matter. He can bring back as many old villains as he wants. People have turned their backs on this show because they don't want to be preached to, and they don't want to be basically told that they're a horrible human being. Especially if you're a white man. Okay, and that's just it. So yeah, David Tennant's podcast with Whittaker is tomorrow, and I will be doing a video on that. But actually, looking at this interview now, will he give her the room and basically let her use it as a soundbite to basically further her ideology and sprout her crap that she comes out with? Jodie Whittaker shouldn't do interviews, to be quite honest, because every time she does do an interview, there's always some sort of reaction because she has a little dig. She can never do an interview without having a little dig or using the term white male gaze. You know, need to stop that crap, or white gaze or whatever. You just need to stop. Do you know what I mean? Someone at BBC should just tell her enough is enough, right? Okay, we get your point, yeah? You're all for everybody being inclusive. We all are, but we don't need it rammed down our throats, and we certainly don't need Doctor Who to be used as that vehicle. There's plenty of other ways of doing it. You could have actually done an episode or two within the series. You didn't have to do the whole series like that, but that's what you chose to do. So that's why Series 12 will bomb, because he's going to double down Chris Chibnall and everything that he did for Series 11, and he's definitely going to do it if he's leaving. And he will leave. He'll be gone 2020 along with Whittaker. The two of them will be gone. And then fans like me and you will be left to pick up the pieces. Now, where do BBC go from there? There is a couple of things they could do. The one thing that I would do is I'd completely forget her era, wipe it from history, bring Peter back, and forget about his regeneration and continue on until he's ready to hand over the reins to someone else. That's what I would do. But they won't do that. And this abomination is going to remain canon. So they bring in another male. They replace Jodie with another male. There's going to be some sort of response from the PC crowd, the pro Jodie crowd. But I don't really care, because at the end of the day, if that man can come along and actually make the show better, then yeah. No woman should ever play the Doctor again after seeing Jodie Whittaker. I firmly believe that. I've changed my opinion from last year, because a lot of you will say, but you did say Olivia Colman. Yeah, I did. And I put my hands up and say I thought Olivia Colman would have been a great choice. But actually seeing a female actress take this role, no. It doesn't work. You take something away from the Doctor straight away anyway, even before she opens her mouth anyway. So, no, I don't agree. I think the Doctor should go back to being a man, and hopefully BBC will have the nerve to do it after Whittaker leaves. But we'll see. So tomorrow, the podcast, so I'll have a video on that, but I just wanted to respond to what David Tennant had to say. I mean, but this, as I said, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to get rid of this phrase now. They want it wiped from existence, because, as I said, this word is harmful to them, because they know everything is becoming politically correct, but they don't want, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Look, there's no point of even saying anything about David Tennant's views anyway. He's always going to be very protective of any person that takes the role of the Doctor. He is right. There is that support network there because they've all been through it. So I'm sure they all would have rallied around her. You know what I mean? It's just, as I said, there's no point of really saying anything to Tennant. He just has his views on it. But yeah, I'm just afraid now he's going to let her use this podcast as basically as our own private little propaganda piece, and I'm not liking that. But we'll see what happens anyway. You know, let's see what kind of questions he asks her. It'll be interesting to see if he does mention the backlash, how she'll respond, because she hasn't responded very well to fans actually having a problem with her doctor when she did that video for style mag, I don't know. She did a video anyway where she was reading out not mean tweet. Well, we could call it a mean tweets video, but it wasn't just mean tweets. There was some good tweets there, people that actually liked her. But she basically had a little dig at the fans, and she's been doing that in interviews as well, where she's been talking about all this white man gays and stuff, and when she was a little girl, which is all bullshit. You know, there was plenty of female stars, big female stars back in the day when she was born. I'm older than her, so she was born after me, so I can actually verify that there was plenty. Do you know what I mean? So she's lying when she says that you know, that all girls did was sit in a corner basically, or they were used as, you know, eye candy, if that's the way she wants to kind of put it. Like, they weren't. There was some. But what about all the men, you know, the Diet Coke ads in the 80s and all, the Levi jeans ads where women were gazing at men and stuff? Nothing said about those, but obviously, like, you know. But that's the whole point, isn't it? That's just the way society has gone now. You can't be a free thinker in this world anymore. If you are, there's something wrong with you, or you're labelled. That's just the way it is. But it's got to be like that for a while. This is all a fad now, and it's gone a little bit too far now, to be quite honest. And it kind of needs to stop now, you know. But there is people fighting back. There's fans fighting back. I mean, the Star Wars fans, I have to give it to them when Disney tried to steal that fan film, and the Star Wars fans, fair play. I'm telling you, they really gave Disney and told Disney what they felt, and Disney backtracked. Ghostbusters also. We're not getting a sequel to the female reboot, The Abomination. We're getting a Ghostbusters 3. Don't know if that'll survive all this political ideology that's gone around. I don't know if it will survive that, but the fact that they're actually going to do it what fans wanted in the first place, half and half, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be 2 guys and 2 girls, and they're going to be trained by the original Ghostbusters. I think that's the concept anyway, something to that effect. That'll be great. That's what we wanted in the first place. Do you know what I mean? As we said, we're not against, you know, women being in Ghostbusters, but you didn't have to do a whole female reboot and then get your man that plays Thor and then make him a stupid secretary in it just to prove a point because he plays a strong male role in Guardians of the in Thor, sorry, in the and then he's brought him over to Ghostbusters and basically made him completely the opposite, stupid, basically like what we would say meant when we see movies with blonde bimbos in it. That's what he's basically made him. He's made him the male version of a blonde bimbo in that movie. Just basically because he's wanted to prove a point. Well, this is what we can do to strong male leads. We can turn them into idiots. And that's all it is. You know what I mean? So fans are fighting back. There is, and some parts of society is fighting back because it's gone too far now. And people are fighting back. And you could see it. And I'll also say, you know, all these YouTube channels that are out there that get a lot of grief, yeah? The thing is if you look at their subscribers, and they've got a lot. If these shows were as popular as all these people say the shows are, well, then these people wouldn't have big YouTube channels. I wouldn't be reaching out to a big audience if these shows had the support that you all think they have. They don't. And fans need to turn to people that they could trust, and they turn to these people. Do you know what I mean? These people tell it as it is. They don't sugarcoat reviews. They tell it as it is. And that's what needs to happen. Do you know what I mean? Also, at the end of this video as well, you will see right at the end, you will see pro-Jody supporter pages that have been abusing YouTubers, people on Twitter and on Facebook. And as I said in a video a couple of weeks ago, I was at the centre of abuse with a couple of pro-Jody fans going into me profile and I did a video, and I did say that if anybody came after me or anybody that I knew on Twitter, that I was going to expose you. So I've screenshot all yous are pages so everybody could see who the bullies are and what pages to avoid, because they're vile, disgusting people who attack you for your opinion and they get personal, you know. So, you know, this is my way, just because I'm sick of it now, you know what I mean. If yous are going to be mean, you know, and yous are going to bully, then I'm going to do something about another YouTubers are too, because as I said in the podcast, remember one thing, right? We all love Doctor Who, right? And the sad thing about it is that a 50-odd-year-old show that we have all grown up and loved as kids, right? Some of us, right, the classic era, right? Grown up, watched this show as kids, right? Made this show even part of my life. I even met my wife because of Doctor Who, okay? This is not just a show to some people. And when you talk about, well, it's just a show, it's just an alien. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's the point. And that's why you will never fully understand Doctor Who. Because it's fans like me and fans that have watched it from day one. And I mean day one, that are still around with us today. They're the ones that have been disrespected by this series. They're the ones that BBC should be apologising to, right, for this crap, for having a go at the fans, having a go at Jodie Whittaker's predecessors. Do you know what I mean? There was no need for it. This was all handled wrong. If this had been handled, and the reason why she didn't get a live studio audience reveal like the rest of our predecessors, when well, obviously Chris didn't get a live. Didn't he not? I think it was. I don't. It doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, she didn't get one. They were doing them, and then all of a sudden they stopped. She didn't get one, right? The reason why she didn't get one, because BBC knew that there'd be a fan like me in the audience, right? And there would have been a lot of them that would have had a problem. They would have booed her coming out, right? It's as simple as that. That's why they did it the way they did it, right? They've been protecting Jodie Whittaker from day one, right? They've been protecting this show from day one when they changed it from Saturday to Sunday, when they gave us a New Year special. They've done everything in their power to help this pile of crap succeed, and it still hasn't met expectations. And I'm telling you now, some fans might be happy with the ratings, okay? And there is a lot of yous out there that are happy with the ratings. But if you actually break them down and the consistent loss each week, and you look at the special 30-day consolidated figures compared to the rest of them, it's still pretty bad. And what makes it even worse is that all the other lads were on a Saturday night and she's on a Sunday night. So they gave this show every opportunity to succeed. She didn't win the NTA. Yeah, the show didn't win the NTA. All the pro Jodie supporters and all were going crazy, you know, because she didn't win. She didn't deserve to win. She didn't even deserve the nomination. But there you go, she got nominated anyway. Do you know what I mean? And now they're talking about her winning the BAFTA. She's not going to win the BAFTA, so get that out of our heads. She's not winning no BAFTA. She's gone after 2020 as well, and then she'll go on to something else and ruin something else. You know, she got her ideology across in Series 1 with Chibnall. She'll get her ideology across, they'll double down on it, and then they'll walk away. They'll walk away. So that's just it. So look, I wouldn't be, David Tennant's interview is no surprise to me, to be quite honest, because as I said, they always protect each other. All the doctors do. It's a tight-knit little group that they have now. So I'm not, but, you know, as I said, this podcast tomorrow, I'm not actually, you know, even listening to her, even before she even speaks, me blood is boiling. I don't know. I hate to say this, but I've never hated a woman so much in all my life. Really never have. There's just everything about her. I just don't like her acting, her attitude. I mean, she just doesn't care. And if she just showed a little bit that she did care, and that this show is important and it should be protected, you know, and it should be treated with care, then I could get behind her if the writing was good and they stripped it down. You don't need, look, 1 or 2 episodes. I don't mind the Rosa episode. It was the only episode in it that was, you know what I mean. And I had to keep out the bit of the white man. You could have had you could have dressed the white man up as an alien anyway. But they just had to use a white man anyway. They could have even done a shapeshifter or something, right? But they didn't. It was all done for a specific reason. Every single person that was cast in this show, right, from the main cast to the supporting actors, were all cleverly picked to fit a demographic. Every single one of them for this series. That's the difference. Back then they were picked because they were the best person for the job, right? You pick someone because they're the best person for the job, not because of their ideology or because of their gender or because of their skin colour or because of their religion or whatever, right? You pick them because they're the best person for that job. And that's the way I'm going to be always when it comes to Doctor Who. You know, you pick the best person for the job. So yeah, so I'll talk to you all tomorrow anyway for the video on the podcast with Whittaker and Tennant. It should be interesting. Again, as I said, if you liked what I had to say in this video, please give the video a like. Please also subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as I said, wait till the end of the video because the bullies will be exposed. Thank you. I'll talk to you all. Have a good night and stay safe.